you guys reacting to my quarterback list because I dropped a quarterback list on Twitter.
This was some
and I think, the reason why I wanted to do this format instead of like us having our all individual rankings is because it would take too long, right? You'd name.
Wait, so you have we're not giving our top 10s?
No, you're giving your top 10.
All right, sweet. No,
but
the whole 32
just in terms of the 32.
We're going to drop our own 32.
I'll make the original 32 and
Yes.
react to it on the show just so we're not naming 90, 96
Oh, listen,
names.
there's a lot of things. And listen, rightfully so that it got as many interaction as it did. Again, add Joel V. Moran.
So
Go show him some love.
before we start this, just going to reiterate the rankings, right? So number 32, Sam Darnold. 31 is Geno. 30 is Kenny Pickett. 29, Marcus Mariota. 28, Justin Fields. 27, Davis Mills. 26, Daniel Jones. 25, Jared Goff. 24, Tua. 23, Trevor. 22, Trey Lance. 21, Ryan Tannehill. 20, Mac Jones. 19, Carson Wentz. 18, Zach Wilson. 17, Jalen Hurts. 16, Jameis Winston. 15, Matt Ryan. 14, Dak Prescott. 13, Derek Carr. 12, Kirk Cousins. 11, Kyler Murray. 10, Lamar Jackson. 9, Russell Wilson. 8, Matthew Stafford. 7, Deshaun Watson. 6, Justin Herbert. 5, Joe Burrow. 4, Aaron Rodgers. 3, Tom Brady. 2, Patrick Mahomes. And 1, Josh Allen. And for the YouTube viewers out there, I'll put out the image so you guys can follow along on that.
That's nice of you.
Yeah.
So I'll say this about your top 10. I don't mind it. I would have a few things moved around. The one thing I will say is I have Kyler over Lamar. So Lamar just misses my top 10. I like your top 10. However, Burrow over Herbert and Deshaun
It's crazy.
is nuts. Burrow
And Stafford and Russ.
Burrow over Stafford and Russell is very it's giving recency bias. It is. Because we can agree that Justin Herbert is more talented and has shown more as a football player than Burrow. And I mean, at least in my opinion. Matthew Stafford, there is no throw he can't make, and he's one of the smartest quarterbacks in the league, and he's coming off a Super Bowl and one of the most impressive playoff runs we've seen in a little bit. Russell Wilson has been victim of situation, and now he's coming to the Broncos. I respect you putting him in the top 10. Now let's get out of the top 10 for a second, because that 11 through 15, I'm fine.
Perfect.
I'm fine with it.
That's
I'm fine with it. I think I would have Derek Carr over Kirk Cousins, and I would have Dak Prescott over Kirk Cousins, but you and I have gone back and forth. You believe that Kirk is over Prescott, and that's definitely a close conversation. I believe Matt Ryan is 15. Now, once you get through 16 through...
You have Jameis so high.
You do have him very high.
So high.
16 through 24. I'm sorry if I'm speaking for you, Joel. Obviously, you can give your thoughts once I'm finished. 16 through 24. Obviously, we're going to stop at Tua. Tua at 24, having Trey Lance over him, who has played 2 games, is crazy. I respect your projection of Trey Lance. I don't know. You think Trey Lance is going to be better than Trevor Lawrence? I don't know about that. Mac Jones higher than Tua? I don't know about that. Carson Wentz over Tua? I don't know about that. Zach Wilson over Tua? I don't know about that. Zach Wilson at 18, I respect you for it because, yes, you love Zach Wilson. This is one of the biggest Zach Wilson fans you'll ever know. But I think that based off his season production last year, I don't know if I could feel confident putting him over guys like Wentz, Tua, Ryan Tannehill for that matter. Maybe you could say he's over Mac Jones, but you really can't say that truthfully because Mac Jones was the most impressive rookie quarterback out of the bunch.
He was.
I personally, I can make the argument that I could take Tua over Trevor, over Trey, over Tannehill, over Mac, over Wentz, over Wilson.
Tua isn't more talented than these guys.
Isn't more talented?
He's not.
You're being rude.
Like in 2 games, Trey Lance showed me more than Tua.
What did Trey Lance really show you against Houston?
Like physical talent, Trey Lance. I mean, Trey Lance has more
Trey
physical
Lance
talent.
is more
period.
talented than Tua. It's not even a debate, though.
He showed more. There's some throws he has against Houston. And
Just has a strong arm.
Who is this?
Well, he's
And
also
yes, he
more
can-
athletic.
Yeah, he
Way more.
Fair.
Yeah. Like he made some really good
just
all-platform
to
throws, deep balls.
Counter your Zach Wilson point. Well,
Fair enough.
This past year, pressure rate 10%, second highest in the NFL. Average time to throw before pocket collapsing, 1.7 seconds, lowest time in the NFL. Catchable balls dropped 12.7%, highest in the NFL. So he was not in a good situation.
We talk about Tua having a terrible line. Zach was.
I mean, what did you guys have? Was your line terrible last year?
When Zach, we just had some injuries. We were having some injuries throughout the year, but Becton going down, obviously. The line was good, especially running.
Like, we're going to talk about Zach Wilson a little bit later, and I'm coming off strong right now, but I don't firmly think that Zach should be bottom 6 like everyone else believes that he should. I respect the Zach Wilson support because I am a Zach Wilson supporter as well, but I just think that he's a little bit too high.
So before you go, Joel, to answer back, I think in terms of like 25 to 32, we don't have to really talk about that much. I'm fine with that. Well, Geno Smith being over Sam Darnold on Twitter did shock some people, but
really,
Geno Smith is better than Sam Darnold at this point.
In the 25 to 30, yeah, he's not number one, obviously, but yeah, he should be.
So you're taking Justin Fields over Davis Mills?
Yeah,
and I'm not saying that like.
I'll just take the chance on the upside.
Fair enough. Yeah. I think Justin's ceiling is definitely higher, but Davis did show some things last year.
I would have Davis Mills over Daniel Jones and Jared Goff.
I would actually have Davis Mills over Daniel Jones as well.
So in terms of Tua versus,
it did.
In terms of putting Trevor over Tua, Doug Peterson
and Trey Lance.
Okay, weapons. I'll get to Trey Lance. I'll go one by one.
All right, cool.
So Trevor Lawrence, just if he is what he's supposed to be, he is over Tua. And it's not.
If he's what he's supposed to be, then he should be where Zach Wilson is.
The only reason why, Jaguar situation isn't as good as the Jets.
True.
The only reason Trevor's this slow is because I'm still not a believer in the Jaguars all the way.
I agree.
Ryan Tannehill, I think last year he showed us he regressed, and I think this year less talent, offensive line still struggling in pass pro.
Definitely,
he's gonna struggle again. This is a year where. Really, it's a make or break year for Ryan Tannehill. Number 20, Mac Jones, just not having the receivers. You know, you got Devontae Parker and stuff, but having Bill Belichick call the offensive plays now, not having Josh McDaniels there anymore, I think is probably going to hurt Mac Jones at least a little bit. That is one I could be wrong on.
Belichick might be calling plays this year too.
Carson Wentz, number 19. I like the Commanders' offensive line. I like their weapons. I like their running backs. This could very well flop, but I believe Carson Wentz will have at least a similar year. And even last year, like a bad season for him was 26 touchdowns, 6 picks. Mm-hmm. That was a bad year for him. Zach Wilson, I think he's going to take a pretty big leap. You know, last year being anywhere between the 30 to 32nd ranked quarterback to now being the 18th best, I think he's going to take that big of a leap. Jalen Hurts, I have him here just because I believe the Eagles will be first in the NFC East.
That's a fine spot to have him.
A.J. Brown just going to help that passing game. Jameis Winston at 16. He threw 14 touchdowns, 3 picks before he got hurt.
Bro, week 1 he had 5 touchdowns.
Yeah. No, I understand. He had 5 touchdowns but he was still efficient. And before he was
efficient to the point that he there's no way he could replicate it.
On the play, he tore his ACL. Was a touchdown bomb against the Buccaneers. Yeah. Just want to say that. And now you talk about the Saints having Michael Thomas healthy, Jarvis Landry, Chris Olave, Alvin Kamara still there. That defense is still elite. I think the Saints are winning 10-plus games easy, and Jameis Winston is going to be in that comeback player of the year conversation.
I think 10 games is their ceiling. I don't know.
I think Jameis Winston is going to throw 25-plus touchdowns this year, and I would say 13 picks or less.
That's a fair stat line for him. I would have Jalen Hurts above Jameis and Matt Ryan.
And then when we talk about the top 10, I mean, maybe Justin Herbert has more physical talent than Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow is way too high, bro. He's not the 5th best quarterback.
5 is high.
Joe Burrow made the Super Bowl with the worst offensive line in football.
But it's not just because of him.
Burrow was so average.
Of course it's not because of him.
Statistically, he was average.
Well, what do you expect when you have one of the worst offensive lines in football?
They have the best weapons in the league. Top 2 or 3 in the league.
Yeah, but
they have the best.
That is nothing if you don't have time.
Yeah,
now you're telling me you're giving me Joe Burrow this year with time to make plays, to throw to those guys? He will be in the MVP discussion.
But you also have Deshaun, who's just more talented than him, having time and not as good as weapons.
We haven't seen Deshaun play in a year.
We don't care. I don't care.
And also,
it doesn't matter.
I will say this about Deshaun. Deshaun had a fantastic 2020 season, one of the best I've ever seen. I'm not denying the skill, the talent, but before that 2020 year, he was still a great quarterback, elite quarterback. We know that, but he didn't have as good as a season as he did in 2020.
He had Bill O'Brien, some terrible offensive lines.
All right.
And 2020
was the same thing. He had Tim Kelly as an OC.
And he was throwing to Brandon Cooks.
It was like year 4 for him, bro.
Well, I'm just saying, Can I see Deshaun Watson before?
Well, no, because you can't say
Can I see Deshaun Watson?
Do you have any worries about Jameis coming off a torn ACL, not playing in a year? Then you can't have any worries about Deshaun Watson.
He did play in a year though.
He played 4 games.
Yeah, but he did play.
He's coming off an injury. We know the talent Deshaun Watson. Well, that doesn't have to go without question.
I'm not disrespecting Deshaun. He's 7th.
I know, but Burrow over him.
He's set. What do you mean?
To me, Joe Burrow is like 10th.
A player who took his team to the Super Bowl. Like, what are we talking about here? Deshaun Watson was up 24-0 on the Chiefs and blew the lead.
We're not going to say Deshaun Watson blew the lead.
Well, he was a part of it.
24 points.
Well, yeah, but when the offense scores on your defense, you are also allowed to answer drives back.
But
he didn't answer any of those
had
drives
by
back.
far the better roster, the better coaches.
But they were up 24-0 though.
They got up.
If that's Joe Burrow, you are dropping him to 15 here.
No, I'm not.
I know you are. I know you are.
Hell no. I have Burrow. I don't know when we're going to give our list, but I'll quickly just go over your top 10. I don't have much of a problem. Joe Burrow at 5 seems way too high. I would have Herbert, Deshaun, all of these. I have Herbert at 10. I mean, I'd have Deshaun, Herbert, Stafford, Russ, and Lamar all over Burrow. The middling ones, this like
so
11.
You would have Burrow at 10.
Yeah. This 11 to like 19
I
range.
have Burrow at 9.
I don't have much of an issue. I think Matt Ryan's a little too high. I like Jalen Hurts more. Jameis seems a little too high. I would just push them down and put Hurts at 15, move those guys back a little bit. But for the rest of them, like the young guys, the Mac Joneses, Trey Lance, Lawrence, Tua, Zach Wilsons, this all feels about right to me. I'm higher on Trey Lance, I know, than you guys are. I think he's gonna be great. It's just a matter of time. He's gonna start. I don't think there's any doubt in my mind. The whole Jimmy Garoppolo situation, whether he gets traded or released, Trey Lance is gonna start week 1. I think he's gonna look really good pretty quickly. And Trevor Lawrence is a tricky one because, coming out, we all thought of him, obviously, as a great prospect. He had a down rookie season, but I'm still in on Trevor. 23 feels about right. I'd have Fields above Davis Mills, Daniel Jones, Jared Goff. But the one that just sticks out is Joe Burrow at 5. He's a great quarterback. I'm not trying to hate on Joe Burrow, but these guys below him just have more natural talent.
It's like you have him in your top 10. You're not saying that he's a bum.
Yeah, no, not by any means. He's a great quarterback.
There's a lot of great quarterbacks in the NFL right now.
We're talking about Lamar and Kyler being the 11th best quarterback. That's ridiculous. It's crazy.
Yeah, you're right. Well, also, just to talk about the Trey Lance point and why he's over Tua is because he has Kyle Shanahan. He has
Mike McDaniel, show some respect. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Mike Gesicki.
I know, but like Kyle Shanahan,
good
Mike
offensive
McDaniel,
line.
Miami's
Mike
better.
McDaniel is Kyle Shanahan's here. Mike McDaniel is here.
He's the son.
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. And now you're giving that to my guy too.
I would be. I'm ecstatic.
The reason I'm counting on Trey Lance more is because of Kyle Shanahan, the physical talent he already possesses, Debo, Ayuk, running game, offensive line.
I'll tell you, bro. Those 2 games, he showed me more.
He's in a great position.
He showed me more than Tua.
Oh my God, against Houston, he was okay.
Yeah, Houston. Who was the second game he started against?
So I have a question for you then. So I have a question for you then.
It's not his fault. Start against who you start.
I'm gonna bring Russell Wilson into this because this is the latest example I have that's in my head. Russell Wilson, for years when he was carrying Seahawks teams to the playoffs, and mind you, people projected the Bengals to win 5 games most this past year, and they exceeded everybody's expectations. So when Russell Wilson was carrying these teams to the playoffs, and I would say he had great weapons in DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. Those 2 guys are definitely DK is a top tier receiver, and Tyler Lockett is one of
them to the playoffs before.
Tyler
DK.
He had Baldwin though.
Yeah, but when he was bringing them to the playoffs that time, it was Legion of Boom.
I'm not talking that far back.
Okay, but
there's a few like a 2-3 year span where it wasn't Legion of Boom,
but it was
DK.
DK Lockett. You had Chris Carson, Rashad Penny. They had running backs. Chris Carson before he got hurt was a great running back. When he lost in the playoffs, all anybody said was, "Oh, it's the offensive line is shit." Burrow was operating under a worse offensive line, but still managed to win 3 games to get to the Super Bowl. So why are we
Seahawks fans blame the defense a lot more than the offensive line?
This is the thing, though. I just don't understand this logic. Joe Burrow has become one of the more underrated, overhated quarterbacks in the NFL because people have been comparing him to Tom Brady a lot, which it's an unfair comparison, but Burrow was under the 31st ranked offensive line and won 3 games against the Raiders, against the first seeded Titans, against the Chiefs, came back in that game. And that game wasn't even a fluke because he came back against them in the regular season as well. He threw for 900 yards in 2 games against the Baltimore Ravens. He goes to the Super Bowl, and now people are like, oh, it was a fluke run. Oh, he only did that because he has the best weapons in football. Did you look at the offensive line? Russell Wilson had some pretty great weapons with a shit offensive line, and he couldn't get that far. He completed 50% of his passes versus the Rams in the 2020 playoffs and lost against a Jared Goff that had a broken thumb. So I'm just saying, why aren't we showing more respect to Joe Burrow?
Joe Burrow was great, but it's not like he had these all-time performances like Matt Stafford did to get to the Super Bowl.
How is he supposed to have them?
Because he has
when
the best
he has
weapons
no
in the
offensive
league.
line.
He has the best weapons in the league, bro.
He has the... you and me were at this table, wild card round, saying Raiders are probably going to win this one because that defensive line is scary.
So the same thing about the Titans and the Chiefs.
Same thing. And what happened? They
proved
kept
me wrong
winning
every week.
Game-winning drive versus the Texans. That's what Joe Burrow had.
They should have lost to the Titans if Ryan Tannehill played decent. If he played out of 7, they win that game.
But also, I think we have to.
Listen, we can't change history.
We have to give Joe Burrow some credit for
the throw to Jamar Chase.
Not even that, but just not making mistakes and not putting your team in harm's way, knowing your offensive line is horrible and not
threw
throwing
interceptions throughout the playoffs.
He did it, but I know he did, but he didn't put it in harm's way to the extent of he cost his team the game.
No, you're right.
But now
Tannehill did.
But now he has Alex Kappa, Lyle Collins, Ted Karras, which is an improved offensive line. But it'll be an average offensive line.
This is where we're getting misunderstood. Neither of us are saying that Joe Burrow is shit or is going to be bad. We're just saying these other quarterbacks are just more talented and better than him.
What has Deshaun Watson warranted to be over Joe Burrow?
Bro, his 2020 season was ridiculous.
And Joe Burrow coming off a torn ACL through 34 touchdowns and 14 picks, he wasn't spectacular. And Joe Burrow wasn't even himself until the midpoint of the season.
He had some ridiculous numbers down
you
the
could
stretch.
still see his knee was buckling in the first half of the season.
He's a more athletic Joe Burrow. That's what he is. With a little bit stronger arm also.
Look.
I'm glad you understand that that's perfectly said.
Is Deshaun more talented? Yes. Is Herbert more talented? Yes. Is Stafford more talented? Yes. Is Wilson more talented? Yes. Can you even say Lamar's more talented?
What's the point of this conversation,
No.
Joel?
This is the point. Can you even say Lamar's more talented? Yes. But Joe Burrow's better than all those quarterbacks.
Stop saying that, Lamar. He called Lamar Lamar last episode. And I said, you could take that back right now, or we're going to be running with this the entire year, and he did not.
There is something special about Joe Burrow. All these quarterbacks.
Joe Burrow's got the intangibles as hell.
All these quarterbacks I named, the Herberts, Watsons, and Staffords. You can say the same thing, that they're more talented than Brady as well. But there's something about Brady. That's why he succeeds.
He also has a strong-ass arm. And he's great at
Joe Burrow has a strong enough arm.
He's the smartest quarterback ever.
There you go.
And Joe Burrow, I can make the argument he's the smartest quarterback in the NFL currently.
Deshaun is in that conversation also.
Tom Brady's alive.
So it's Tom Brady then
Tom Brady's alive.
If we're talking about the quarterbacks who are the smartest, I would talk about Tom Brady.
Burrow's in that
Mahomes,
discussion for
Russell,
sure.
Aaron,
Russell
has to be there.
Yeah.
Burrow's in the conversation. So I'm just saying, I just feel like the argument used against Burrow a lot of the times is this talent thing. Well, what has Deshaun accomplished? Some of the teams Deshaun has had have been as complete as the Bengals this past year.
I don't know. The Bengals defense was really good down the stretch.
Well, Texans defense, they had top 10 defenses when Deshaun was there with J.J. Watt and Jadeveon Clowney. They had those guys.
Clowney was never him.
He was always one of the better run defenders in football.
Yeah, that's fair. J.J. Watt was in and out of the lineup almost every year. Like, how many did he play a single year? He played 16 games. Like, yeah, he had some defenses, but I mean, the Bengals last year, they went on a really good run.
I mean, the Texans were good enough to the point that before they got Watson, they were routinely winning the division with Brock Osweiler's and Fitzpatrick's.
Points against, they were 19th, 2019, the year that they blew the lead to
Chiefs.
Okay.
Correct.
In 2018?
2019.
Oh, no, I'm just asking like the 2018.
Oh, you want me to look up 2018?
To see, if I'm actually correct and that they had a top defense. So Bengals were 17th this past year, points against.
They had a great defense 2018. They were 4th. Now I wonder, did Deshaun play that whole?
I think he got hurt that year.
Yeah.
He got hurt
Deshaun
that
had
year.
his ACL. Deshaun had the ACL injury too and came back in 2019 season and had his best year to date.
Not better than
2020. Sorry,
not better
2020.
than Joe Burrow's second year.
And 2020, that was when he lost.
I think Deshaun had better numbers than Burrow did. I'm almost positive.
And the completion percentage
Burrow had 34
was insane.
touchdowns, 34 touchdowns, 14 picks. Deshaun Watson, full season at 26 touchdowns, 9 picks.
2020?
2018.
Oh,
I'm talking about. We're talking about second seasons.
Yeah, you're right.
But other than that, what do you guys have wrong on my list?
Like we
Drew
said,
mentioned his, but Joe, I didn't get
I went through it. I told you I thought Burrow was too high. In terms of like the middling packs. I talked about this already. I don't know. Maybe you were in outer space before.
It's true. He went through the whole thing.
He went through the whole thing.
So,
all right. That's
so I'll go through my top 10, and I'll go from 10 to 1.
Top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL currently. Drew going first.
All right. So
top 10.
At number 10, I have Kyler Murray. At number 9, I have Joe Burrow. Number 8, Matthew Stafford. Number 7, Russell Wilson. Number 6, Justin Herbert. Number 5, Deshaun Watson. Number 4, Aaron Rodgers. Number 3, Tom Brady. Number 2, Patrick Mahomes. And number 1, Josh Allen.
I have a very similar list. I know I tweeted out earlier a few hours before the show started, and I already made a change. Originally, I didn't have Stafford on my list, but I went back and fixed that because I made a mistake. I definitely made a mistake.
Smart.
I took Kyler off. Kyler was originally 10.
That stings.
10, Joe Burrow. 9, Lamar. 8, Stafford. 7's Russ. 6, Deshaun. 5, Herbert. 4, Rodgers. 3, Brady. 2, Mahomes. 1, Allen. And Mahomes and Allen could be 1A, 1B. I don't like going into the season. Even when they played, I said Mahomes was the better quarterback. But you just bring in Josh Allen, his ability to rush the ball. And, I mean, their arms are the same. Like, talent-wise, they can make every throw, every off-platform throw across their body, left foot, whatever they want to do, they can do it. Josh Allen just has the rushing ability that is borderline elite, probably is elite right up there. Different than Lamar Jackson because Lamar looks to run more. It's just Allen uses that whenever, as escapability if nobody's open. Mahomes could also rush as well. He had a great run against the Bills,
Definitely.
40, 50 yards down the field. He's just not the same type of athlete as Josh Allen. He's not as big as Josh Allen, too.
Not only that, but when projecting who's going to have a better year, you'd probably bank on Josh Allen over Mahomes, given the Tyreek Hill departure and Josh Allen getting Jamison Crowder, O.J. Howard, improved offensive line.
Gabe Davis.
For sure.
Yep, Gabe Davis, exactly, yep. And Stephon Diggs still
under 1,000.
Dawson Knox, he's going to have 1,000.
Under 1,000.
I'm sure.
I'm feeling good.
The Auden Tate bet is off.
I have Gabe Davis. No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No,
Say
it's
it again.
not.
What'd you say?
The Auden Tate bet is off.
No, it's not.
No,
What did we bet? No, it depends on what we bet.
Serge said under 800.
No, well, I know the number, but I'm talking
what
about
we bet?
the
I don't remember.
compensation.
I don't remember.
I think it was the if he has under, he gets Joel's to go, or maybe that was something different.
All right. As long as it's not nothing crazy.
We have to go back and see.
As long as it's not nothing
you don't
crazy.
like. They drafted Drake London. I don't care. He got buried by Geronimo Allison and Brian Edwards. That's because
Those
he
are
got
some good players.
man.
Those aren't some good players.
I don't want to be rude to those guys,
Those
but
aren't some serviceable players.
if you think
Listen, at
Auden
one
Tate
point,
is as good as you think he is, he should be able to beat out Geronimo Allison and Brian Edwards.
There was a point in
It's
time.
not about politics.
Stop.
NFL's about
All three of those
politics.
guys are new to Atlanta, so they
NFL's
could
about
all go in.
politics.
They haven't worked with these guys before. They could go and show in.
Bro, he
we should
literally
be the
Arthur
starting
Smith
receiver
went in and
outside
said,
of Drake.
"Let's trade for Brian Edwards." He already
They
has
gave
a
up
plan
like a
in
6th round
place.
pick.
There was a point in time where you held Auden Tate to such a standard that you thought that he could potentially steal opportunities
I
from
didn't.
Jamar Chase.
Yo, you guys,
So-
it is funny because we watched that clip back, and the way you make me come across
No, it
was
it's
not
'cause
how I came across.
No, that's how
No,
you
it was
came
not.
across. Because there's a reason we sat there 15 extra minutes and had a heated debate about it. Because you came across crazy. Anyways, me having Deshaun at 5 is for the fact that I do believe that he is the most
You have him over Herbert.
I do, because I do believe that he is the
Ridiculous.
most complete quarterback in the game, but because he hasn't been on the field, I can't put him higher right now.
Yeah. I mean, you had what? Did you have Herbert and Allen, one spot apart? Yeah, you had Herbert 6, Deshaun 7.
Well,
ridiculous.
I mean, come on, putting Watson over any of those guys is crazy right now.
Deshaun's more athletic than he is. He's smarter than Herbert. Herbert has the stronger arm,
I don't
but
know.
both
I
of
don't
them
know if
can
he's
make
smarter
anything.
than
Yeah, I don't know how do you measure
Deshaun,
that.
just reading the field, making
You
throws.
should be able to resonate with Herbert. He's a bio major, 4.0
Listen,
at
he's a
Oregon.
genius without a doubt. But Deshaun Watson and his completion percentage, 2020 season was what 70.
It
He
was
threw
in
for
the
almost
70s.
5,000 yards.
How does that mean you're smarter than somebody though? Having
completion
a better
percentage to a
It
degree?
just
It
means
just
accuracy, bro.
that
And also the
and
types of
also you're not
passes.
making.
When I think smart, I'm
erratic
thinking like
throws.
at the line
And, well,
adjustments.
that too, and just his ability to scramble outside the pocket, understand when it's his time to go, when it's his time to be meticulous in terms of, all right, I know I can make this throw, but it's in a risky situation. I don't necessarily think that I should make that throw. it's just different things that go
Well,
into
there's
That's
no-
decision making more than smart.
Well, there's no.
I mean, but decision making is a
It
part
plays a
of
part.
Yeah, correct.
Well, there's no argument for Watson when it comes to being that, because Herbert had 4 different offense coordinators in Oregon, went to the NFL, COVID's riddled season, so no offseason basically. Had a new OC,
Again, it just
set rookie touchdown records, and then
And he
next
got-
year
and he got
has a new
thrown-
OC.
And he got thrown in last minute too when Tyrod had the punch.
Yeah, he's had a new OC. This is the first time in his career.
I don't think it's
he
crazy.
has the same
I
OC.
love Deshaun too.
Deshaun didn't start his rookie season. Came in, I think he played the Bills. The Bengals. Ironically, he had the rushing touchdown. Don't quote me. I think it was the Bengals. I could be wrong, but then he just took over after that, and then he tore his ACL. Comes back the next season. Texans are a playoff team. 2020 season was outstanding. Threw for almost 5,000 yards, 70% completion percentage.
That was year 3, right?
Yeah,
2020?
yes.
Right.
Deshaun Watson,
He only threw 33 touchdowns.
33 touchdowns.
It's not a lot.
Herbert had 34.
But okay, no.
Yeah, and a team that's more balanced.
I'm fine with that. 33 touchdowns with Brandon Cooks as his best option.
Yeah, I don't even
And
know.
Will Fuller,
Was
who
it-
got suspended.
Yeah, facts.
In
Fuller.
a pass-heavy offense that all he's
Because
doing
he's
is throwing
Deshaun
the ball,
Watson.
But I'm just saying, these other offenses are at least more balanced.
That's rich coming from the Matt Ryan lover.
Just freaking passing
Talking
it all
about
the
passing
time.
touchdowns.
And he still had 440 rushing yards with 3 touchdowns.
He was spectacular.
job.
No way.
He has
him.
no playoff
He's
success.
definitely
So
him.
I don't care.
I mean, he has a playoff
Neither
win.
does Herbert.
he has no playoff
Neither
success.
does Herbert.
Well, I don't care.
He has a playoff win against the guy we have as the number 1 quarterback in the league. Because justifiably so, he is.
Before he was the number 1 guy in the league, but fair.
When he was just mid-tier, basically.
When he was questionable. if we're
No,
being
he
honest.
was still solid.
No,
That was the first year they made the playoffs.
After
I
that
know, but
season,
that-
they didn't make the playoffs
Yeah.
because of Josh Allen. No, they
No,
made the
he
playoffs because
became-
their
Their
defense was elite.
their defense was like top 3 that year.
I want to say, was Josh Allen like almost dead last in completion percentage that year also?
He was bad. He showed
That's the
improvement,
thing.
but he
Yeah,
still wasn't.
facts.
He wasn't
Correct.
great.
Nobody
That's
expected
facts.
him to have this lead.
That was
Oh,
the,
no.
That was the year he did the lateral pass when like it was the last drive of the game or whatever. It was 4th quarter. And he did the lateral like.
Bro, that
and
was
went out of
against the
bounds.
Texans.
I know. Yeah,
Oh,
I know.
yeah,
That's what
yeah.
I'm saying. Like everyone's like, what the hell is this guy doing?
Yeah, he lost his mind right there.
This
Now he can
Deshaun
do it.
Watson praise doesn't sit right with me.
I
He's
guess.
amazing.
Top
I
top
guess.
10 quarterbacks: Lamar Jackson at 10, Russell Wilson 9, Matthew Stafford 8, Deshaun Watson 7, Justin Herbert 6, 5 Joe Burrow, Aaron Rodgers 4, 3 Tom Brady, 2 Patrick Mahomes, and 1 Josh Allen.